What's up, YouTube? It's Rahul again, and today I'm going to be doing a kind of strange deck. I know other YouTubers already hit on it. I kind of didn't have time to, but this is my take on the Gengar, Mimikyu, Vileplume, Lockbox, Horror House deck, I guess. Horror House Poltergeist, an old concept, a new rendition. So let's go through the deck without further ado, and let's get some gameplay in this bad boy, right? So Shaman, two of them, set up. Gotta draw cards, simple and easy. 3 Oddish, 2 Plume. Plume has irritating pollen. Each player can play item cards from his or her hand. All you need is one turn to set this bad boy up, and then we get into the main star of the show, Gengar Mimikyu. Whorehouse GX, for 1 Psychic, your opponent can't play any cards from his or her hand during their next turn. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra Psychic Energy attached, each player draws until they have 7, and they, can't do anything else at that point. So the game plan is you go turn 1 Whorehouse into turn 2 Vileplume, set it up all in 1 turn. They can now no longer play items. Their hand is stuck with the cards they have. You kind of stop their setup for a turn, and then you start poltergeisting turn after turn after turn after turn. And that's the game plan. Just do a ton of damage and just get in there. There's 3 of these bad boys. 3 Lele, because we are under item lock and we do play a lot of supporters, so getting the Lele is pretty important. And I can also just retreat into Lele and hit with if I need to. 1 computer search, 3 nest ball, 3 candy, 4 mail, and 4 ultra. I have this split just because I would like to set up turn 1 pretty much. Turn 1 is pretty much the only turn I care about. And so getting all of these is important. I've thought about 1 or 2 max elixir just to rush out a Gengar Mimikyu if I need to. But they weren't really testing well. There's 1 Ace Roll and 2 AZ, because a lot of the time these guys get stuck, or you might have to bench something you don't need on the board that could be a prize threat later on in the game to yourself. There's 2 Bridget, because even though you have 3 nest balls, you would still like to do something turn 1. And so if you do find the nest balls early, you can go into the Lily instead of the Bridget. There's a Chorus, because, a lot of the time we're both going to have big hand sizes, or big benches, and it'll help out more than a Cynthia, I feel like. There's a Faba, because you need to deal with Garb decks somehow. It could just be a blower, honestly, because against Garb decks, they will have the item locked down, so you can just Faba that away. But Faba is probably just better. There's 2 Guzma. You could have more of these. You can never have enough, in my opinion. There's 2 Lily, because turn 1, it's a very good supporter. And a lot of the time, you might need to hand refresh after, dumping Candy, Plume, Floatstone, yada, yada, yada. And then, bam, you just want to use it. There's 3 N, because you may fall behind early if you don't get the setup off the way you want it to. So you may need to end pretty early and just, give them more cards sometimes even. That's something I found myself doing a lot, because my opponents won't have enough cards in hand once they see the Oddish or the Gengar Mimikyu in the active. They kind of get wise to what I'm trying to do. There's 3 Sycamore, because a lot of these cards are kind of dead after turn 1. There's 2 Skyla, because you need to have a way to get the candy, almost certainly with Lele. There's 1 Steven, because I'd really like this card under Trainer Lock to get an AZ or Ace Roll or something for the following turn, as well as finding the 1 energy attachment, because the energy attachments really do matter with this deck. And then there's 4 Floatstones, because turn 1 is pretty darn important to do stuff on turn 1. So let's get into a game. I know it's not my usual modus operandi to do a game. I'm spoiling you guys today. But this is a deck that I have been testing a little bit. It is something that it feels pretty fun. It wins a lot of games. A lot of people just concede once I Horror House, so that might happen today. I hope it doesn't, for the sake of the video, because I am not taking another shot. I'm doing this in between midterm breaks, so I'm just recording some stuff, throwing it out there, because I do want to have some content out before I head to Toronto, so the channel isn't dying, I think. So this hand is pretty mediocre, but I am going first, so that is a bright side on this. So I can nest ball for my small boy, and then attach, and then just Lily. Maybe a top deck an Ultra Ball, maybe a top deck something else. I do want to keep the energies, so I'm against a fighting base deck. Let's attach, because we're going to do that anyway. Let's nest ball. Let's do that. This matchup is, I think, fairly favorable. We'll get rid of the colors and the energy. We're just gonna set up here. Make sure there's no shenanigans. There's no way I don't get to turn 2 Plume. We don't have one of our Gengar Mimikyus, which is, could be a problem. We'll find out once we Lily for 7. That's why Lily and Bridget are both good in the deck. And now that we have all this, it's kind of sucks. So we're just gonna hit done. Yeah, I don't have a way to get the turn 2 Plume with this hand, which kind of really does suck. But we can just Sycamore, I think. I mean, I could even just Horror House next turn, based on what happens. I could Steven for a Skyla and Horror House, forcing my opponent to have a hand refresh, and putting myself in a position where he does have more cards because he just pitched 3 items, or 3 trainer cards, sorry, because it is trainer cards. That counts everything. He's switching, so he's burning a lot of cards, and he's lilying for 6 himself. So my opponent has no fear. I do have resistance, so it's not like the end of the world if he does do something here. So he's playing Garb, so I'm down 2 items. I don't think the Garb ever becomes relevant in the scope of the, the scope of the items in my discard. But if he is playing Trash Lanch, it could be a problem. So he hits the counter energy on the bench boy. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go with the play that I mentioned before. I'm going to Steven, get myself a Skyla and an energy, double check that there's an Ultra Ball in the deck, okay? And we're going to Whorehouse and force him to draw some more cards. This way, I force him to have more cards in hand. He pretty much can't do anything because he put an energy on the back and he didn't even smack me the first time around. So now I'm effectively just going to Skyla for an Ultra Ball with Bridget, and probably the Lily, attach, and then, do the whole ordeal. Okay, I just top decked it because I'm just apparently that good. We'll get a comp search anyway, I think. We're just going to comp search out another Gengar. Just because I do want to thin some of these cards out in my hand. I'm keeping both AZs just to give myself an option to do stuff. And so by doing all this, I'm thinning a little bit. I'm Ultra Balling. I'm getting everything on the board. And I'm setting up a second Gengar Mimikyu. So by having all this, I think the only other card I could have wanted potentially is a Floatstone. So now we get to look at his hand. He's got a Lily, he's got a Kukui. So he's going to have a Macargo into Kukui to get whatever card he wants next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He does have a Trash Lanch. So he will be able to do what he wants next turn with the Macargo. And ideally, I could find like a Guzma or something. But if he doesn't, like if he swings with this bad boy and doesn't set up another guy for the Sledgehammer turn, I could run away with this game. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items. And I do have an AZ set up ready to go for the following turn. So he's going to go for the swing around in my opinion here. And I think I'll just respond with a casual AZ on my end. If he does enough damage. And if he doesn't bench another Buzzwole, I think I don't care what he does. Because he would need to find an energy plus an item or plus like a Guzma or something. I don't think he's doing that anytime soon. So he's going to go ahead and just put the Beast on the active. Very bold move from my opponent. Knowing his hand has a lot of items left. The math is not relevant here. I think I just play it safe. AZ up the big boy. I don't want to give my opponent 3 prizes. Bench another big boy. And Poltergeist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has a Strong in hand. He has a Lily. But he can't get down those cards. So you can put the Strong on the DNC. And then he could Lily. But I think he won't be able to do anything with this hand this following turn. So more than likely he's got to give me a prize. So probably the DNC comes up. Oh no, he's just giving me the Garbodor. Okay. My opponent's got some stones. I don't know what card he could Macargo here that would do anything for him. Because he can't even Lily. He can't do anything. Yeah, he literally... Okay, so he's doing what I thought he'd do. Put the Strong there and set up for the following turn. I can even AZ my own Vileplume if I want to do stuff this turn. But I think I like this hand enough to where... Yeah, so my opponent concedes. I don't really have to do anything past this point. Because I've established the lock. There's nothing else that can be done. So let's do one more game because that was a quick one. And I want to try to get the lock up again. The turn one was a little sloppy because I did miss. I did miss off my Lily, even with 4 trainers males. You know, all the goodies that are in the deck. I managed to miss my turn 2 Plume, but the good part about having Horror House is like I can just I have a turn to just pause the game and say, let me do what I need to do. And this is a pretty bad scenario for me because I opened Lele here. But I can just nest ball for a Gengar, attach to it, and then the throwdown because Horror House is, again, like I said, my reset into the game. So I'm up against a Zoroark deck. So nest ball to start. We've got 2 Oddish. We're going to grab a Gengar here. 4 float. All the energies are important. That's what I want to count. I have 1 candy. I have 1 candy in the deck. Okay, that's really not good. I play 3, so we might need to have this Horror House take us a little bit of a distance. So we're just gonna do this. We need to aggressively dig for this candy right now. So we're gonna have to pitch this entire hand. Okay, so we got these boys out, and I have no real way of doing anything next turn. So let's just pass. If I top deck the candy or the Plume or an Ultra Ball, I should be okay, because I can turn to get it out still. Mr. Lele, okay. I don't think I saw Psychic when we entered the game, so hopefully that isn't an issue. Okay, what the heck is going on here? Litleo. So we're up against a Pyroar deck. Very interesting. So we're going to do what I know how to do best. And I was like, oh my god, if I hit it off that would have been insane. Okay, so I didn't even get the hand refresh off that. But I did hit a Lily. So we're going to just retreat and we're just going to Horror House here. Lele. So we're just going to Horror House here because next turn I can Lele for the Skyla into the Plume. But that being said, I would like to Lily as opposed to that because I think that'd be better. So let's do this. We'll just grab this for next turn. This is not good because I don't have an energy. So I might need to dig deeper than normal. I might need to just Sycamore this hand away, which I think I'm just going to do. Because at the very least, I need to be able to attack this turn. Or Colress or something. No, I'm just going to Sycamore. I don't need any of these cards. Because I missed an energy drop. So, and he is a dark type deck, so I'm under a lot of pressure for what's going on. I do hit the Plume. So, okay. That's good. We'll take the Nest Ball so I can just throw it away with my Ultra. And so we do hit it off the Sycamore. My greed does pay off. I have a Steven, so worst comes to worst, I'll be throwing up an Oddish, or I'll be throwing up a Lele and seeing if I don't die for a turn or 2. So let's Poltergeist and see what my opponent's got hiding in this hand of his. 2 DCE, a Shaman, a Zoroark, a Guzma. So my opponent has Zoroark plus Guzma in his hand, but Zoroark already, I think, he will have the one-shot on my active, which is a little disheartening. 1, 2, 3. So he only has 3 items, though. So I will have to power up another Gengar Mimikyu on my bench with my active dying. So I think I'm going to give him the Lele. What? Oh, it says no retreat. Huh, very, very strange. So he's going to be able to start trading away those items in his hand, which is also not good for me. But he could draw into them. If he does Shaman here, and he will get the knockout. This is not a mystery. But if I had if I had not missed the energy attachment, I believe that I would have been able to respond to this KO. That being said, we're in a very precarious spot. Because we do give up 3 prizes here. And we do know he has a Guzma in hand. So I do lose the game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we have to do what we can, but we already know this is a futile effort. My opponent did put the perfect combination of cards into his hand. So we're just going to pass, and we know he has the Guzma. So that would be a game wrapper. This was a poor display of how the deck would work, but yeah, and that is the wraps on that one. But thank you guys for watching the video. The deck is very good in its own capacity. It needs a little more tinkering naturally with the list, but I think the concept is something that's really cool, and I think you guys should check it out. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please subscribe. You know the deal. You know the deal. And I will be in Toronto, so I'll see you guys there. I don't know which day I'm uploading this video. Probably Tuesday, probably Thursday. I'm leaving Thursday, so that all being said, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and peace out.